Officers indicate that the transfer of the three waters will somewhat address the deficit because most of the shortfall sits within the three waters. So I'm just looking at these graphs that they seem to be for this current financial year. So can you confirm that they do not take into account the position after 1 July 2026 once the water assets, debt and depreciation have transferred to the new water entity?
The table specifically talks about this current financial year, but you could apply it to any financial year in the way to apply this. So in an ideal world, we seek to rate at a level that covers our costs.
Oh, no, I understand that. Thank you. I confirm that that was for this financial year because what I was actually requesting last time was the next financial year after the water assets had transferred. That's so Mike, are you able to quantify the remaining impact of this year's deficit on council's opening financial position next year after the transfer occurs to Te Aki Wai?
So if you follow scenario 2, what we're effectively saying there is if we end up this year with a deficit of close to $7 million, then that would be transferred to equity, which means that you kind of have to catch up $7 million next year.
Yeah, but we'll also be transferring 40 million of our depreciation and all of our debt, and majority of this 13.9 million deficit was because of it was because we did not rate depreciation for the big reevaluation of our water assets. We still put the depreciation expense, the paper expense on our book, but we didn't rate for it, so we had a deficit.
Correct.
So once the assets go, once the depreciation is transferred, that depreciation debt, then what does next year's starting position look like? Because I thought we were having a budget reset.
Yes. So the depreciation, the lack of funding depreciation in the current year stops with us. You know, that's books. We can't transfer to Te Aki Wai our historical core financial performances. That doesn't transfer.
Aren't we transferring 40 million of our depreciation expense across? That was in the audit and risk last week.
40 million
of our depreciation debt.
40 million of our depreciation debt.
But what I'm asking for is next year, those figures will be, that deficit will be much less relevant because the water assets are going to transfer. So that deficit will be less impactful. So what I'm asking is, can you quantify what that deficit impact will be in the next financial year? Because you've shown it here in this financial year, but I'd like to see what next financial year's impact of that deficit is.
So currently the annual plan, the draft annual plan has us balancing our budget. So next year we hope to be right on that green zone there.
Okay, so thank you. So that means then that the deficit for next financial year is not relevant.
There isn't one.
We're aiming for a zero deficit.
It's gone once the transfer happens with the entity.
Councillor Phil, I'd note that the line of questioning is now going into the annual plan, not the actual financial plan.